Okay, it's almost 4 o'clock in the morning here in Tennessee, and I am up reading fan fiction. And I could be doing other things with my life, like sleeping or schoolwork, but I decided to read fan fiction. The fan fiction in particular I love so much is Inuyasha. I am a fan fiction junkie for Inuyasha. I stumbled upon Inuyasha the show when I was about 12, and I know I saw it on Adult Swim. I used to stay up late at night because the highlight of my night was to watch Inuyasha at 12 o'clock on Adult Swim. And like there would be nights that I used to, be so tired from my day because, I'm a kid, I'm running around, I'm doing all these things that I would zonk off, and I would I get pissed because I missed the show. And this is before I figured out that the internet, could, be good for all types of stuff, like look up Inuyasha episodes I missed. But anyway, I one day I just went on the internet and I wanted to look up pictures of Inuyasha and Kagome just because, I was a big fan of the pairing Inuyasha and Kagome. And, I stumbled upon a fan fiction, and the first fan fiction I read was a crack fic, and the author wrote that Kagome's mom went off into the forest yelling cheese for sale. I thought that was the funniest thing ever. And then I went onto the fan fiction main page, went into the Inuyasha section. I just kept clicking on stories and clicking and clicking and clicking, and I'm just like, what have I stumbled upon? My fan fiction obsession has gotten so bad that, when I used to stay up late at night and I had to be at school, I used to be like, okay, well, I need to go to sleep, but I'm not finished reading this yet. So I would print off the next chapters and put them in my folder. I had a specific fan fiction folder for these stories, and I used to take them with me and be on the bus just reading it on the way to school, and then sometimes in school. Then my obsession for fan fiction got worse when I just got off of Inuyasha. Like Inuyasha, the show just got bad. The fan fiction was so much better, and I haven't watched a show in forever. And when I do watch it now, I'm just like, this show is so stupid. It's just full of nothing but fillers. And even now in college, I still read fan fiction. I'm passing right now with a 3.5 GPA. Yay me! Better than I did in high school. And yeah, anywho. But my fanfiction obsession has gotten so bad that I look at the quality of stories, how good it is in detail, how great, how big the length is, the stories, the scenery, what they're wearing, and big words that I don't understand that I have to go on Google and look it up, and then I understand why that word fits in there, I'm so nitpicky now in my fan fictions that I can tell if a fan fiction is going to be good or bad by the end of the first paragraph. And I also look at grammar. I hate bad grammar in writing. It pisses me off. To know, you can't even understand how angry it makes me when a story is so good and you just see that one error and you're like, oh well, I can look past that, that's not that bad, and then it just keeps happening, and then you're like, this is no good, I can't read this because the errors in your grammar are just so bad. And then my fan fiction obsession has gotten really bad that, okay, I've been reading fan fiction since I was 13. I'm 21 now. I've been reading fan fiction for over 8 years. 8 years. I have never ever kept up with something as long as that in my life besides singing. But for 8 years, I've been reading fan fiction. And I can honestly say I'm proud. I mean, I do read other things, I'm a big zombie fanatic. I love anything that has to do with zombies. But anywho, off topic. I'm pretty sure that even in the future, if I get married and have children, I'll still be reading fan fiction. My fan fictions will be their bedtime stories. They'll probably have nightmares about a dog demon cutting people up and shit like that. I used to be so into the Inuyasha and Kagome pairing that I got off of that, and I'm like, now I'm a big fan of Shishomaru and Kagome. Why? I don't know. It just happened. But I love them together. This big, stoic, cold man and this bubbly girl, you know, in a relationship. Just the whole opposites attract kind of thing. And then the one thing I love even more about fanfiction is how you can make it your own. Like, you know, they go from the feudal era to the modern world, you know, in fanfiction we call it the alternate universe. And I think that's just so cool because they're, you know, up to date with all this technology and these cars and Shishomaru, and you know, Shishomaru's always like a big businessman, this business tycoon, and Kagome is all of a sudden out of nowhere the assistant to Shishomaru, and all of a sudden relationships form between this businessman and this assistant, or like he's this businessman who comes into a coffee shop, stumbles upon Kagome, relationship forms there, you know, simple stuff like that. I love those kind of things. But my life, I'm a fan fiction junkie, a hardcore fan fiction junkie that when things happen in stories, I scream like a little fangirl because I just can't believe it. I put, you know, stories on my story alert. I check my email every day just to see if there is a update on a fan fiction I just put in my story alert. And when I see this chapter update, I go there and I'm like, yes, this is what I've been waiting for. And I sit and I read it. My phone goes dead all the time because I'm using up my data reading fan fiction. It should never be like this. It should, but I mean, at least I'm, you know, reading. Reading's not bad. I pick up other books, but fan fiction is my number one thing. You know, fan fiction is actually number one in my web history. It's really bad. But, you know, being a fan fiction junkie is not all that bad. I love it. And I don't know if I can ever get away from it because, you know, it's one of those things that makes me feel good. After a long day from work and school, I can come back and just sit and read fan fiction and not have to worry about anyone disturbing me at all. But I'm pretty sure it will get so bad to the point that if I do have a relationship in the future, he will dump me because I spend too much time on the internet reading fan fiction. But that's okay, because fan fiction will always be there. Unless the site crashes. Then I'll cry. But this is the confession of a fan fiction junkie.